Argy, and today I'm bringing you the 8th episode of our Road to Champion League series. In the last episode, we edged closer to Champion League, gaining just under 400 points whilst playing Arena. But in today's video, we're going to be playing another Hype Night to see if we can improve on our previous attempt. The first time we played one, I got 60 points and came top 3%, meaning I received 375 points. So in today's video, we're going to see if I'm able to beat my previous score and get even more points. So let's jump straight into the gameplay. So when you play in tournaments like this, an effective strategy can be to start the tournament playing aggressively, as you'll be playing in low point lobbies, meaning the skill level of players is at its lowest. However, even at this stage, I'm not at the skill level where I can push anyone I see and have a good chance of winning the fight. So I make sure that I'm able to come out of game 1 with some placement points before I start to go for some kills. When I see two players fighting up ahead, I see this is a perfect opportunity to start playing aggressively and see if I can finish off any of these weakened players. Despite taking this player's wall, they react quickly enough to protect themselves, which leads to a surprisingly awkward engagement that somehow sees neither of us take any damage. This fight was way more difficult than I was expecting, so I decide to just get to the circle. But that's not the last time that I see that player, as she's back on my case moments later. But despite getting her really weak, she gets me with a good edit peek. In game 2, I decide to land at the beach huts, hoping to have a peaceful start to the game. But my spot is contested, so it's critical that I get some decent loot quickly. This isn't exactly what I wanted, but I'm glad that I've at least got some shield. I move towards the next hut, looking around for where this player could be, until I get shot at from the side. Well, that's all of my shield gone, and what makes matters worse is that both players are suddenly on me. With me getting 60 points in my first Hype Night, I was expecting to do a fair bit better, with me now knowing what to expect and being more experienced. I'd not had the best start, but I was hoping that this game would be when I start to do well and get some points. And after lasering this player, it's looking like I could be about to have the perfect start to the match. I get the player weak, knowing that I'm one clean shot with my tack away from killing them. It takes a little longer than I'd have liked, but I'm able to get the kill. Later that game, whilst heading to the circle, I get sniped at from behind. That's a really brain dead decision from this player, as no smart player would shoot at someone and they're in the storm. They're just asking to be storm held, so I feel really confident that I'll be able to kill this player. They're able to tag me with a decent hit, but I've got extra shield, so I'm not too worried, and I'm able to wrap up the kill shortly after. I'm able to get points for coming top 25 before I get into my next fight. I go to take the player's wall, but fail, leading to a trade that almost cost me my life. I'm able to put on some shield before we're back fighting again, but I miss way too many shots, and I'm punished for it.
No, I'm shit.
A couple videos ago, I tilted really badly and completely lost my head, which led to me playing a lot worse. So I decided that if I tilt in future, then I'd force myself to take a break, and then come back later when I'd calmed down. And by game 4, my head had started to go again. If I'd been playing Arena, then I'd have just turned off my PC and stopped playing. But because I was doing a Hype Night, I was forced to continue playing, as you only get a 3-hour window to play all of your games. Although game 4 does start promisingly, as I get an early kill. However, before I'm able to get any materials, I'm pushed right after my first fight. And all it takes is one slip to put me in a really bad position.
Oh, come on.
So by game 5, my head had fully gone. With me getting 60 points during my first hype night, I knew that the chance of me beating that was very slim. So when this player launches away from me, I'm desperate to find her, so that I can get the kill, as I need as many points as I can get. The player has healed up a bit, but I'm able to get there while she's still weak, which means I'm able to get the kill with little trouble. Later that game, whilst heading to the circle, I suddenly find myself build fighting a player. This is the last thing that I want to be doing right now, especially with me being just outside of placement points. My opponent decides to drop down to the ground, but there's no way that I'm letting her get away. When I'm tilted, I start playing hyper aggressively, even when I know it's not a good idea. So I continue to push in recklessly, and unsurprisingly, I'm punished for it. So we've now completed half of our games. By this point in my first hype night, I was at 30 points, so to be nowhere near that was really frustrating, as I really expected to do better. So I decided that I wasn't even going to upload this hype night, and just try to forget about it. In fact, I was thinking that this would be my last game, as I couldn't be bothered to finish the rest of my games. I wanted to get this match over and done with, so I decided to play aggressively. But somehow, despite me practically giving up, it starts to go surprisingly well. I'm actually starting to feel pretty good again. I don't feel tilted at all now. Maybe all I needed was to stop caring, or to start playing more aggressively. I'm not entirely sure, but it was nice to see me doing a little bit better. And for the first time in this hype night, I'm actually able to make it to the endgame. What a turnaround. Obviously, it would be nice to get a win, but I'm already happy with how I've done this match, so I'm just hoping that I'll be able to survive for as long as possible. With me safe in my box, I decide to peek out, hoping that I might be able to snag a free kill or two. Getting the points for that kill was great, but what made it even better is that the siphon I got from the kill put my health up to max, which meant that I didn't need to worry as much about being caught in the storm, which is really helpful during these endgames. With me low on materials, I need to play aggressively and get in someone's face, as I won't last much longer if I don't have materials. I didn't get an awful lot of materials there, but at least I'm still alive. What the hell? I'm popping off! What's going on? I'm looking really healthy, but I am completely out of materials, so it's not looking good. Until suddenly, I'm 1v1. Can I do it? Can I get my first ever win in a tournament?
Oh, no way. What the fuck?
Unbelievable. Am I dreaming? So with me somehow winning that match, I've gone from 60 points to 40. And honestly, I'm still in shock. I genuinely was about to quit the hype night before that game, seeing as I was doing so much worse than my first one. But I'm now actually 10 points ahead of where I was last time, so there's no way that I'm quitting now. That was a huge confidence boost, and exactly what I needed, which meant that I went into the next game full of hope and optimism. Although my first fight of game 1 is ultra sketchy, as this player is obsessed with killing me, despite me just wanting to get to the circle. And I soon find myself low on health, out of materials, and armed with just a grey attack. But sometimes, that's all you need.
Bitch! You dickhead.
Due to that fight lasting so long, I end up being caught in the storm before I can get to the circle. However, I see a player nearby who I really don't feel like fighting right now, so I decide to hide in the bush, but he's onto me, and I'm quickly forced into a fight. We end up fighting inside my box, which almost goes horribly wrong, and I'm desperately weak. I don't want to waste my launch pad, but I simply can't afford to be caught in the storm, so I decide to launch away. I spend the rest of the game looting up and getting materials, meaning I'm able to head into the endgame in a healthy position. But yet again, I find myself getting pushed, whilst I'm just trying to get to the circle. Despite the storm ticking for 2, I decide to heal up in it, as I don't think that I'll get chance otherwise, before I continue to fight my opponent. I'd like to finish this fight, but I'm running very low on materials, and with there being players nearby, just itching to knock us down, I decide to drop to the ground. But it's not until I've dropped down when I realise that I'm completely out of materials. I'm in a really bad position. I want to go farm up, but if I get shot at once I leave my builds, then I'm dead, so I've got to time this right. Thankfully, I'm able to make my way into Lazy without anyone trying to kill me, which allows me to get some materials. And with me getting the circle, it's looking like I might finally get some luck in this match, although this sense of optimism was short-lived when I hear the sound of an RPG. That was such a stressful game. There were so many times that I could have died, so I think that I did do quite well to survive as long as that. Which means I head into game 8 in good spirits. And would I have another decent game? Well, as I'm sure many of you who watch my videos will be accustomed to by now, I have a tendency to forget to record my games, and this was yet another one of those occasions. I can't remember what happened, but I can't imagine it was too eventful, as I died without any points. But still, sorry about that. Anyway, back to the video. Tournaments like the Hype Nights tend to see people playing very aggressively, mainly due to there not being anything on the line, other than arena points. What this means is that if you do your best to avoid fights for as long as possible, gaining points for placement can be really easy. Because of this, hiding in buildings and making as little sound as possible can be a genuinely effective strategy, because realistically, as soon as you're seen by a player, you're likely to be pushed, and this helps to avoid that. At this point of the match, there are only 5 minutes left before the tournament finishes, which means that if I want to get into my last game, then I really need to be finishing this game soon. I've never been in this position before, so I really didn't know what to do. If I play this match out, then there's a good chance that I'll be able to make top 5, and maybe even win the match, as I've got good materials and loot. But if I leave this match, then I'll be able to play my last one, where there will be more points available. It's a really tough decision. I'm 8 points away from matching my score from the first Hype Night, which I could potentially get if I played this one out. But with a bit of luck, I'd be able to get way more than 8 points if I get into my final game. And I really want to beat 60. Because of this, I decide to charge at the first player that I see. It doesn't matter if I die or not, because I just want to get into my final game. And if I'm able to get a kill, then great.
Oh no.
So heading into this final game, I knew that I'd need to have a good game if I was to reach 60 points. Placing top 15 and getting 3 kills would do it. It's not going to be easy, especially in a 52 point lobby, but it was definitely achievable. Although if I don't get any better loot, then the chance of me doing well is incredibly slim. So I head to a nearby house, hoping to get a shotgun and some shield. However, it turns out that that was just a pipe dream, as there's already a player there, which is the last thing I need right now. I attempt to build fight the player, mainly to try and get some distance between us, more than anything else, but I quickly run out of materials. And it ends exactly as you would expect. Maybe I should have played out the 9th game. So that's the end of our second ever Hype Night. Considering we were so close to rage quitting, we didn't actually end up doing too bad, finishing on 52 points. I didn't beat my previous attempt, but I wasn't too far off. And with me somehow managing to get my first ever win in a tournament, I can't be too disappointed. Despite me not having the greatest start, I ended up getting way more kills than I did in my first Hype Night, which I'm really happy with. Although funnily enough, I actually got half as many placement points as before, which really surprises me. Had I gotten the same amount of placement points as before, I'd have ended up on 75 points, which would have been great. Obviously, that's easier said than done, but it shows that there's definitely room for improvement, and it should be achievable. In future, I'll have to work and not tilting so easily, which is definitely a work in progress. And I also need to improve on making it past the mid game, which I seem to struggle with this time around. But it's time for that moment of truth. Where did I place? And most importantly, how many points did I receive? Well, it turns out that I came in the top 4%, which despite being lower than before, still means that I received 375 arena points, which I'm really happy with. This pushes us to 4,810 points, just over 1,000 points away from reaching our goal, which I'm really excited for. So, have you ever won a game in a tournament, whether that be in a Hype Night, Cash Cup, or whatever? I'd love to know. Also, if you want to support me as a content creator, then feel free to use my creator code, which is on the screen now. So anytime you buy something in the item shop and use my code, it will go directly towards supporting the channel, which would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe for more. And I'll see you next time for another video. Goodbye.